What screams I'm very insecure? Constantly wedging humble bragging into conversations. Automatically assuming negative intent. E.g., "You friend didn't pick your call? Peep her. She's trying to avoid me. I don't care about her anyway." I mostly see this at work. People who are in upper management and treat people like garbage just because they can. Being unnecessarily mean, rude or bitter to people. Treating new employees like garbage just because you're threatened they might take your job someday. This is a self-roast, but I think I degrade myself just to hear others deny it. Is that insecure? I do this and I definitely think it comes from a desire to get ahead of it, like, if I put myself down first, then how badly can it hurt if someone agrees? It's created a cycle of almost compulsive negative self-talk that I'm trying to deprogram. Trying to dominate conversations, not to be confused with just being a charismatic person. I know a guy who will talk forever, on and on about something that may or may not be interesting to anyone but him in the first place. If anyone has something else to say that leads to a small tangent or participation of other people in the room, he becomes visibly annoyed and will bring it back with an anyway at the earliest opportunity and continue ranting. I don't like him. Undefined. When people have and insist on constantly checking on their so via some tracking app on their phone. It's one thing to have it and use it in case of emergency, but using it while out with your friends to make sure he's actually at work is creepy and super insecure. I found that a lot of people on Twitter that feel the need to post about how great of a person they are and they have nothing but good intentions are usually the most toxic people I've seen. I used to be very insecure, so I'll go from my own experience. Lying about something to seem cool. It's very obviously a signal of insecurity because they don't like who they are now. I have a brother who does this. He's so insecure about whether people see him as an idiot that he's getting his PhD so he can officially be the smartest person in the room wherever he goes. Almost verbatim. Dude lies pathologically about the dumbest steep. Clicking on this post to see if any of the top comments are things you do. When you question yourself, do they actually like me or are they pretending to? Or when you think you're gonna bother other people if you talk to Theme and Defined. I hope you all are doing great. Just not shutting up about yourself. Constantly lifting yourself up and comparing yourself to others, while pushing them down. Also, constantly putting yourself down and comparing yourself to others. People who always have to one-up you in everything. If you tell a story, they have a better one. If you buy something expensive, they have to be something even more expensive. Some people's whole life is trying to win some non-existent competition. All those people who post on Facebook those quotes that are like, "Don't worry about those who talk behind your back. They're behind you for a reason." Or they tag themselves into any and every place, including the doc/hospital/somewhere personal. Then when someone asks if they're okay, they reply with, "Don't ask hun zox." So basically, people who live their lives through very active social medias, I suppose I'm trying to say. Bragging about things not even in your control. Like your parents' wealth. One-upping people constantly in conversations. Or bragging about how much better you can do something than others can. Which is a much better comment than yours was. Women that guard their men like a solitaire. I was leaving an abusive relationship. My friend offered me a place to stay. The hitch was if she wasn't there and just her husband was, I had to leave. I got a hotel room. Not dealing with that. Being unnecessarily mean-spirited to people. People whose self-esteem is so low that they can't stand the sight of people with high self-esteem. So they will try to break down anyone they perceive as more successful than them. When a group of this type of people comes together, a major crab bucket mentality arises and they will target people perceived as highly competent or successful for bullying, gossip, false rumors, and other things that should have been wiped out after elementary school. People who feel the need to judge everyone in a negative light and who only want to see the worst in others so they can feel better about themselves. It just shows how unhappy they truly are. When you're reading an AskReddit thread, to make sure you're not making it too obvious. Oftentimes, people don't know the difference between telling it like it is and just being flat out mean. People who tell it like it is only give their opinion when it is warranted because they would want someone to tell them the truth instead of dancing around it. However, some can cross this line and just be straight up rude, while using this same reasoning. Those who tell it like it is are secure. Those who are unnecessarily mean are insecure. Not exactly a direct answer to your question, but I've always thought this and wanted to share. Undefined. I bought a mattress the other day and the salesman had a chin strap and blue flames tattooed up his arms. When I finished checking out, he came up behind my mom and I and said very seriously, just so you know, people call me Firearms. Later that same day, my dad and I were in the parking lot at Lowe's and a guy with spiked hair pulled into the parking lot in a convertible blasting Crazy Bitch by Buckcherry. I like to think he and Firearms were separated at birth. Undefined. Joint Facebook profiles. Scene. Gets a notification on phone. XGF. Who's chatting to you now? Me. It's a game notification. Me. Goes to shower. Me. Comes back to find GF going through every message. Email and WhatsApp. Does that scream I'm insecure? Edit 1. Thanks for the responses. I got out of that relationship last year and I'm dating someone of a far better mind and someone who trusts me. Edit 2. I coded my phone, she figured it out, then I used my fingerprint. Edit 3. My ex was very insecure and would often follow and check my every move. Edit 4. I will respond as best I can. Incapable of self-reflection. To be fair, self-reflection is where most my insecurities come from. The more you talk about how good you are in bed and how many women you've peeped, the less I believe you. Using your internal fear as a reason not to do something. Hate your job? You don't apply for any others because you're scared of being rejected. Or that you don't deserve a better job. In a terrible relationship? You stay because you're scared of being alone. That kind of insecurity is the worst emo because it affects nearly everyone.